Why most ancient humans died before 30. Or so you've been told. We've all heard the statistic. We've all seen the memes. The idea that if you lived in ancient Rome or during the Paleolithic era, you were basically a senior citizen by the time you blew out 25 candles on your birthday cake. We picture ancient humans living fast, dying young, and dropping dead of old age before they even reach their 30s. It makes us feel incredibly grateful for modern society, right? We have antibiotics, we have sanitation, and because of that, we live to be 80 instead of 30. We've doubled or even tripled the human lifespan. Except, that's a complete lie. It is arguably one of the most widely believed, statistically misunderstood myths in modern history. Ancient humans did not drop dead of old age at 30. In fact, if an ancient hunter-gatherer managed to survive their childhood, they had a very high probability of living into their 60s, 70s, and even their 80s. So where did this massive misconception come from? Why does every history book and scientific article casually mention that the average life expectancy for ancient humans was between 25 and 35 years old? The answer lies in the dark, brutal reality of how mathematicians calculate average life expectancy. It's a statistical illusion, and understanding it requires us to look at the brutal reality of being a baby in the ancient world. When demographers calculate the average life expectancy at birth, they take the age of death of every single person in a population, add them all up, and divide by the total number of people. Now, imagine a small tribe of just two ancient humans. One of them lives a long, healthy, vibrant life, hunting and gathering until they peacefully pass away at the ripe old age of 70. The other person is a baby who tragically dies at birth. If you take their ages at death, 70 and 0, and average them together, the average life expectancy for that tribe is 35. But nobody in that tribe actually died at 35. One died as an infant, and the other died as an elder. Yet, if you just look at the raw statistical average, it paints a completely false picture of a society where everyone dies in their mid-30s. This extreme example is exactly what was happening in ancient human populations. Before the invention of modern medicine, vaccines, antibiotics, and basic sanitation, infant and child mortality rates were absolutely catastrophic. Throughout most of human history, roughly 25% of all children died before their first birthday. Almost half of all children died before they reached puberty. They succumbed to diseases, infections, malnutrition, and exposure. Because so many humans died at age 0, 1, or 2, it dragged the statistical average down completely. When half of your population dies before age 10, it mathematically masks the fact that the other half is living long, full lives. Did you ever believe the myth that ancient people died in their 30s? Let me know in the comments below. It's fascinating how a simple misunderstanding of an average can warp our entire view of human history. Once an ancient human made it past the dangerous gauntlet of childhood and reached their teenage years, their life expectancy skyrocketed. Anthropologists who study the remains of ancient hunter-gatherers have found that if a person reached the age of 15, they could expect to live another 40 to 50 years on average. That means it was completely normal to see 50, 60, and 70-year-olds walking around ancient camps. We know this because of the biological evidence they left behind. When archaeologists examine the skeletons of early humans, they frequently find the exact same signs of aging that we see today: arthritis, tooth loss, and bone fusion patterns that only happen in the later stages of life. Furthermore, human biology hasn't significantly changed in the last 100,000 years. The biological limit of the human body has always been around 90 to 100 years. We didn't suddenly evolve the genetic capacity to live to 80 just because we invented penicillin. The hardware has always been capable of lasting that long. In fact, there is an evolutionary reason why humans are designed to live a long time. It's known as the grandmother hypothesis. In the animal kingdom, most species die shortly after they lose the ability to reproduce. From a strict evolutionary standpoint, once you can no longer pass on your genes, you are a drain on resources. But humans are different. Human women go through menopause and lose the ability to reproduce, yet they frequently live for decades afterward. Why? The grandmother hypothesis suggests that having older, non-reproducing adults around was an incredible evolutionary advantage for early humans. Because human babies take so long to raise, a mother's time is incredibly constrained. If she has a grandmother around to help forage for food, watch the children, and pass down crucial survival knowledge, the survival rate of those children increases dramatically. Elders were the living libraries of the ancient world. They remembered where the water was during the drought 20 years ago. They knew which plants were poisonous and which were medicinal. A tribe with elders survived. A tribe without them died. Evolution actively selected for humans who could live long past their reproductive years. If you are enjoying this dive into the reality of ancient human life, please drop a like on this video. It tells the algorithm you appreciate history being set straight, and it really helps the channel grow. Now, this isn't to say that ancient life was easy. While they didn't drop dead of old age at 30, they certainly faced dangers we can barely comprehend today. Without modern medicine, a simple scratch could become a lethal infection. A broken leg could be a death sentence. Childbirth was incredibly dangerous for both the mother and the infant, claiming the lives of countless young women. Predators, rival tribes, and starvation were constant threats. But the way they lived also protected them from many of the diseases that kill us today. Ancient hunter-gatherers didn't sit at desks for 8 hours a day. They didn't eat processed sugar. They were incredibly physically active, walking miles every day. As a result, cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, and obesity, the massive killers of the modern world, were virtually non-existent in ancient populations. Their hearts were incredibly strong. Their bones were dense. It wasn't until the agricultural revolution, about 10,000 years ago, that things actually took a turn for the worse. When humans stopped wandering and started living in crowded, permanent settlements with domesticated animals, our health plummeted. We were suddenly living in close quarters with animal feces, contaminating our water supplies. This allowed diseases like cholera, smallpox, and tuberculosis to rip through populations. Our diet also suffered. Instead of eating a diverse range of wild plants and meats, early farmers relied entirely on a few staple crops like wheat or corn, leading to widespread malnutrition and stunted growth. Ironically, the invention of farming actually caused average life expectancy to drop even further, and it wouldn't fully recover to hunter-gatherer levels until the late 19th century. If you find the hidden truths of human history as fascinating as I do, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We regularly debunk the myths you were taught in school and explore the strange reality of our past. So, what has modern medicine actually achieved? If human biology has always been capable of reaching 80 years old, what did vaccines and antibiotics do? They didn't extend the maximum human lifespan. What they did was democratize it. Modern medicine removed the brutal filter of childhood mortality. Instead of only the luckiest and strongest 50% surviving to see adulthood, almost all of us do now. We didn't change how long a human can live. We just changed how many humans get the chance to live that long. The next time someone tells you that ancient people died at 30, you can correct them. Our ancestors were tough, resilient, and fully capable of growing old. They had gray hair, they had wrinkles, and they sat by the fire telling stories to their grandchildren, just like we do today. Thanks for watching. What other historical myths do you want to see debunked? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.